For now tunataka tuingie kwa podcast nyingine inaitwa The Comrades Clubhouse. Are they in the building?
Hi everyone, my name is Wamboy. I'm a psychology student graduate from ZTech. Ex-comrade, but still a comrade. And this is my business partner. Her name is, what's your name?
Hi guys. Hi, my name is Wendy. I'm a student at AMREF currently, pursuing a course in public health, so I'm still
Yeah. And together we founded an NGO. We have an NGO called Betterment Shemala. It's an organization that deals with lifestyle diseases, Storina AI, Gen Z nutrition, just everything that touches on the Gen Z in general, and a comrade. Yeah, and out of our NGO, we came up with a project which was the podcast. So the podcast is a baby of our NGO. So she was my classmate pale in high school. So yeah, we tukaanza kupiga banta, and this is where we are. And we want to thank KCA for hosting small podcasts like us, the upcoming podcasters. Thank you for the opportunity, big time. And our topic today will be talking about mental health, especially on the men. See, Pia KCA, you have a mental health conference coming up. So, and June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And given that I am a psychologist, it's a topic that Nico quite conversant with it. And I would like to welcome our guest in the house, anaitwa Larry. We just met, but he's wonderful. So
let's give it up for Larry as he comes to the stage, guys. Beginning kelele,
Hello. My name is Larry Ricky Anthony. I'm a poet, a fashion model, a lifestyle model. Yeah, and I'll be with these two beautiful ladies this afternoon. Thank you.
Larry has a poem.
Yeah. I since I do poetry and we are here to have fun, interact, and talk about matters, mental health, I would like to invite Alfie. We have something little for you. We've just met. Nothing is scripted. We actually don't know what you are going to do up to now, but we are going to do it. Yeah.
Also, this is episode 6 of our podcast.
Nitakungoja mama, takungoja, cause you are vitamin.
Okay.
Nitakungoja mama, takungoja,
King.
takungoja,
Listen.
cause you are vitamin.
So nitakungoja, so hata kama unioni we John Kolani nazungumza na babangu Jalali kwa maombi. Nitakungoja so Alfi, tusijali, tutakangana hadi ile siku hiyo sanii itajipa tu. Nitakungoja, and you know I'm not that much of an artist, but I can sing some song. Nitakungoja, so let's get to the real business. Of course, I come from the west side, where boys get crucified in the process to amplify their internal suicidal thoughts. Put that aside. Of course, I am an inside man. An inside man driven by nothing but despair and desperate for a voice to hear me. Is that even fair? Okay, what's the problem? What's the problem of a boy trying to employ the same traits used by the opposite gender to acquire ginger from a shop without causing turmoil? What's the problem? What's the problem of a man being taken out on the first date and being told, you know what, baby, I'll take care of the bills, take care of how you'll make me yours without killing his masculinity, physical identity, or social qualities. What's the problem of a man crying out loud over some strong physical pain, financial strain, weight gain, or even some heartbreak? Come on, give me a break and let that man cry. Masculinity? Masculinity has taken over societal identity. Tell me why this complexity doesn't need some sympathy. Tell me why a boy can't cry. Tell me why a boy has to cry. Tell me why a boy can't let a fight fly. Tell me why my son will have to own a gun as his first toy. Tell me why my emotions have to remain intact even in situations of a lot of impact. In fact, tell me why an infant boy has to go through the first hair cut. That was my time. Thank you.
Cause you are to me.
Okay, so guys, so we are discussing Sisi. So given that you're the only male in the pod right now, we have a few questions that we'd like to ask you as a representative of the male child out there.
But we're going to also involve the audience. So if you also want to participate, we'll like give you a chance to participate. Unanisikia?
Yeah.
Okay. Amnisikia?
So the first question ni why do men suffer in silence? Kwa nini kuna ile ya ukiwa na kitu, you know, as girls, kama I have something burning, I have my girls wenye nitaenda niongee na wao, niwaambie ABCD, sijui boyfriend yangu alinifanyia ABCD. But then utapata nyi wanaume, mko na boys, mko na watu mnaenda kucheza pool na wao kupiga shots. But then ikifika kwa other, you know, small details that siko sawa, you guys tend to bottle it up. Kwa nini?
Okay, personally, I feel like expressing emotions for the men, a lot of men tend to mistake it for weakness. Like, we assume expressing your emotions, crying out over something that is happening to you is a weakness rather than you getting assisted somehow. So I guess it's all about, they think it's more of a weakness than being helped or getting assistance from somewhere, yeah.
Now, wewe in your place, given that una advise watu, where do you seek help? How often do you talk about your problems with somebody? Okay, being a poet, I like storytelling. I'm so much into talking. Like I make friends, I meet new people every day, and we get to interact and we become friends. Yeah. So personally, I talk. Personally, I do talk. I express my emotions, and I believe crying or trying to express your emotions is not weakness to me. Yeah, it's you being assisted, you being heard, because a lot of these things can be sorted out simply by just saying, you know what, leo nimekosa pesa ya lunch, utaniokolea? So a lot of men tend to feel they are the solution and they should never ask for help. But personally to me, I feel I express myself and I'm learning to meet and make new friends every time. You know, in the process of meeting and making new friends every time, you get to interact. Ukiongea na mtu for over 2 to 3 hours, you know, lazima utakume show some kind of hata kama ulikuwa na feature something that you feel should be said, you would have just said a little bit of it in the period you've talked. Yeah. I feel for men, you confuse, okay, you take vulnerability as a weakness rather than embrace equate as strength.
Yeah.
And it's something you guys should really focus on.
Yes, expressing your emotions is never a vulnerability. And I feel Mbona by the or to Juko, okay, I always listen to a lot of people. Actually, it's something that's there that men don't talk. Unajua, at times I sit down and say, by the mbona watu waongeangi? Yeah, you know, for me, it gets kind of weird because I always feel mbona just talking. It's just you saying whatever you have. You know, hata kama utasaidika, when you say whatever you're going through, at least there's kabaden utakuwa umeshukisha. Even just saying it out loud and just expressing your emotions, at least utakuwa umepunguza some anger in it. Yeah, so yeah, that's my take on that.
Wendy Ebutuambia, what's your take on the Men's Mental Health Month? Like, what expectations about the outcome for the men, for the boy child?
Okay, personally, I feel like from time immemorial, kutoka kitambo, from our parents' to us, to even our younger siblings or cousins or whoever, they've been taught that as a man, you're not supposed to cry. I feel like, personally, I like vulnerable men because people who tend to like be uptight and keep their emotions and sijui, they don't open up. Eventually, you find it inakukula pole pole. You're often so angry or you're agitated over small things. Such people are the people who end up with cases come as a bipolar. Bipolar is when you have like when you're happy, then at some point you're angry. Like there's a problem with your brain has an issue with regulating emotions. So I feel like, but for our generation in this 21st century, I feel like more men are coming out and more men want to talk about their mental health. And I feel like it should be something that should be talked about like a lot. Kila wakati isikuwe ati men's mental health month is the only time that guys like show up to talk about their issues. If you can't talk to a friend, I'm sure in school you guys have peer counselors or like
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. I feel like big up by the way to schools that do that. I feel like you should go if you feel like it's weird to go and talk to that person. Because sometimes a peer counselor is someone that you may know na utake ina kuambia business yako out there. Find there are organizations. I'm not here to promote anyone, but there's an organization we work with called Kamili, and Kamili is a mental health organization that has dedicated its resources to young people. Like right now, as Mental Health Month, they have a program for men. So if you feel like they have, their main offices are in Westlands, so you can check them up online on their website, Kamili.org. And yeah, you'll get help there. They have also peer, what do you call them? Peer support groups. They also have free counseling sessions. And if you feel like you're literally not okay in the head, you're seeing things, you have different personalities. Not that it's a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but yeah, if you feel like it's taking a toll on you, just go see them. They're very friendly and yeah, I'm sure they'll help you, but that's my take on that. But maybe we can go to the audience. Maybe somebody can, a guy, a lady, I don't know. You guys have brothers, you guys have cousins, you guys have dads, uncles.
Before we get to
friends,
the audience, I feel like vulnerable men, you've said that you do like vulnerable men. Sindio? I feel like most men, especially when you're in a relationship, utapata that hautaki kuambia your girlfriend uko broke, ama hautaki kuambia your girlfriend kitu may happen at home. But then me as a girlfriend, that is what I need from you. That is, I need to see you crying. I need to see you, si kila time uko strong.
Yeah. Oh, okay, sorry to interrupt. I feel like it's more, it also comes from the nurturing. Because a lot of men have been brought up in a society where they feel we should be the providers.
Yeah.
And not the ladies. Like, I should be the provider.
But to provide haimanishi, you put on that hard shell.
Now, the aspect of I should be the provider brings in the hard shell. Because once you're not able to provide, the man will feel, I shouldn't be speaking about it because for fear of judgment. You know, right now you see it that there's let me say, a term that has gone through social media about brokies and everything. You know, that whole thing is a lot. There's a lot of judgment in that simple word for the men.
I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe I can ask you a question. And to everybody else in the audience, I've met with guys who say that they like to, there are people who genuinely like to provide because they feel like it satisfies their masculine ego or something like that. And there's someone who will atataka 50-50, sindio? So I don't know, what's your take on that? And also, what's your take on 50-50?
Okay. I wouldn't go straight and say 50-50 it is. Because, and I also wouldn't say killing yourself by saying, I am the provider every time, even if you don't have it, is the way to go. I feel like if you're in a relationship, let me take a relationship, for instance, as an example. There should be a lot of understanding between you two, and one should be able to know, this time I'm not able to provide, and it's not bad to seek assistance from my partner. Either way, either it's from the lady or the man. But as you say, the biggest problem coming is that the men tend to feel they should be the providers, which is not bad, but you shouldn't kill yourself by being the provider every time, even if you're not in a situation that you could provide, because it will drain you mentally. Once you're not able to provide, you'll start feeling inferior of yourself, and it brings some sense of breakdown to the man.
Maybe speaking of which, unaweza tuambia what mental health struggles, break it down to us as a man in general. What does that look to you? And being in a relationship, given that Saimko Awili, you're not thinking about you alone, and as the provider, the breadwinner of the family, how does mental health struggles look for you?
Okay. The general image of mental health to the boy child or to the men is simply, men won't go out crying in front of people. So it leads down to depression. It lowers down to anxiety. It lowers down to drowning into alcohol, using drugs and everything. And when we link this up to being in a relationship, when I would say, let's have our relationships so open to the point you can tell, bila hata mtu kuongea, you can tell that this person is not okay. Yeah, because when we are not open with each other in a relationship, especially to the men's side, we need a lot of understanding from our partners. Tunataka mtu mwenye, I don't have to speak for you to know I'm not okay. I need you to.
But then, see kama diffusion osmosis ati umeka, you need me to know that hauko.
It's
Kama
okay.
uta speak up.
Yeah, it's okay. But for instance of the people that, speaking up is a whole lot of process to learn, like to the men. Like we have to learn to speak up.
But then that is what we are building to eradicate.
Yeah.
You get one step yenye unasema sijui, see rocket science ama physics, you have to go sit in class, kufunzwa communication. These are basic things that nyinyi as a whole entity, as a whole gender, umeamua, by the way, acha tu to bottle things up. Acha tu, kama ni kuita being a man, acha tu nijifungie. You get?
Okay, I was
na uwezi kasirikia your partner juu job inakusumbua, sijui mzazi izonyonek, unahitaji kujenga kwenyu, unafanya nini, and tuko kwa nyumba, utanikula as usual, tutafanya ABCD as usual. Mimi sioni ni kama kuna anything wrong.
Okay, that's where I was narrowing down to the term you need to understand your partner. And by understanding your partner, it's a whole lot of process. If you find out you have a partner that it's so hard for him to speak up, teach him, help him learn how to speak up. For instance, unajua kuna time utaona tu wenyewe hauko sawa. Try talk to him, tell the guy, I know you're not okay, but this is not the way to go. You should learn how to speak up. You should learn how to express your emotions to me, and we sort out things. Yeah, so understanding is the key word in relationships.
Understanding.
Yeah.
Back to the understanding bit, sindio?
Yeah.
So you need your partner to understand that how you go okay. But then you have your boys, sindio? Kwa nini mbona wao as your fellow boys pia wao wasi understand, wao kuone ati unazuba, unazona out, unafanya nini, wao kuone that enye boys wetu hayuko fit, we need to do something.
Okay, for the men, man to man we don't meet like on emotional circumstances. We meet either when we are having fun, maybe tumeenda kukunywa mahali, tunacheza pool mahali. We are just doing some activities, but not emotional wise. That's the biggest problem of a man-to-man meeting. And the other thing, we still come back to being judged, the fear of being judged.
No, but then unapata, hata mtu mwenye akona girlfriend, a guy who has a girlfriend akona boys, ata spend 80% of their time being with the boys rather than kukua na demi yake. But then bado unasema meet at, kumaanisha mnabebana tu ufala kwa hiyo meetup mnaenda.
Not necessarily, because
Ama what do you guys do?
I feel like the men use it as a scapegoat. Meeting with your boys tends to be a scapegoat, like to relieve your stress. Yeah.
Okay, now I have a question for you. Now, because we've talked about expressing emotions and expressing to the boys and in a relationship, why do you feel like it's hard for boys or guys or men in general to seek professional help? Or what's your take on guys and therapy?
Okay, therapy is good, but there are some reasons as to why men will not go for therapy. First of all, it's fear of judgment. Ushaisikia, there's I watched, I'm so much into theater, so I watched a play, and they were sarcastically saying, mwanaume unafaa kuoga, ufai kuoga, mwanaume unaendaje therapy? You get it? So the fear of judgment comes first when it comes to therapy. The other thing that might be a problem is, therapy needs financial, whatever. Not all of them, yes. Not all of them, but some of them do. So let's take for an instance, you are breaking down mentally because of financial status. And now you need to go for therapy and pay for the
lakini maboys wako kulewa kila weekend, si ndio? Lakini pesa ya therapy upati.
That's I don't want to say that's kind of different, but okay, let me say the most general opinion that I have about therapy is that the men tend to avoid therapy because of the fear of judgment. Watu wa maboys wakikuona tu wasikie, ai, umeenda therapy, mwanaume unaendaje therapy? You get it? So majorly it's the fear of judgment. Yeah.
Now, may I want to ask you a question? Today, if you were to do what now? Let's say you were to start a business. Nasema, today, let's say if you were to start a business, and maybe it's not something that may be approved by the public, lakini unajua itakusaidia kwa sababu it's bringing you cheddar, it's bringing you cheese, bringing you money, sindio? Sasa, will you really sit down and worry about what your boys will say, or what random people will say, or what your father will say, or some nigga on the internet will say? Because sincerely speaking, I feel like what is really consuming us as a generation, we really care too much. We care too much about what other people think. And kusema ukweli sahi, if somebody was to come and pee on that seat, ajikojole, sindio? Maybe I'll be like, oh my God, she's peed on herself. Then atoke aende and they change. a few minutes later, like inakwanga out of sight, out of mind. So I feel like you men, it's about ego. Personally, me naona tu ni ego. Ateni kusema sijui, oh, social words, oh, sijui, what people will say. I feel like it's just ego. Most men don't want to be vulnerable. They feel like it's weak, and I don't think, and masculinity is more or less, I mean, vulnerability is associated to masculinity. I mean, sorry, femininity, I think. Yeah. They feel like being vulnerable is equated to being feminine. Sini kweli Wamboe? So if men were to mshushe ego kidogo, mshushe ego and stop caring about what people say, I feel like it's what is killing us, pole pole. Ama, what do you think?
Okay,
what do you think?
I wouldn't say that the men don't want to speak out of ego. I would say maybe, I feel like 90% of this is on how we are nurtured. Because you get in a family setup where you have a boy and a girl, you see how they are treated differently, right? Where dem akiumia utasikia ama dem mtoi dem ana grow up akisema, I'm just a girl.
Me, I have an argument for that.
The boy saa zingine hata akiumia anaambiwa enda upanguze hiyo kitu. From that
me, I have an argument. Everyone growing up, kila mtu hapa akona their own traumas, sindio? But then you cannot let your traumas define the person you are at the moment. So ukisema it's how you're brought up, kwani don't you have a mind of your own? Ujifikiririe, because hata ukiangalia statistics, out of 100, 75 of you guys commit suicide. 75, 25 ni the ladies. Kwa nini? Juu tuko na circles, tunaweza kuwa vulnerable. But then, and kama kuna suicides mingi umesikia, most is a men. And given that I studied psychology, kutoka nikuwe first year hadi fourth year, class yetu ilikuwa na girls peke yake. Kulikuwa na kijana mmoja in the whole class. Kijana mmoja, the rest walikuwa wasichana. And then unapata vijana wenzake ndio wanambring down. Ati unakuaje, unatekaje psychology as a whole man. You get? So nyinyi wanaume ndio enemies of your own when it comes to mental health.
I wouldn't say...
Because we have already established that. So what do you think? Nyinyi wanaume mnaweza saidika aje?
As I was performing, I always try to express everything on matters mental health through poetry, because poetry ndo place yenye utapatanga msee ametulia atasikiza, sawa. And I've learned over time that the biggest solution to matters mental health, juu ukiangalia what mental health means, these are just emotions and feelings that we don't speak them out, then zinatukalia, then now they turn into depression, all that, you could mention them. So the biggest amongst them all that we as men can do to help us in matters mental health, speak up, express those emotions, just speak up. If you feel like crying, cry. If you feel like talking, rant. So the biggest amongst them all is just speaking up and getting it outside there. Hata kama utasaidika, we mwenyewe utakuwa umejisaidia by kupunguza the whatever stress you had in you.
Or speak up.
Speak up.
So do you have a question for us as ladies now, and now you as the men mental health practitioner? Also, this is also an open session for anyone out there mwenye akona a question for us in regards to men's mental health. Ama a point, we can pass you the mic.
Okay, I have one simple question that I know you'll argue otherwise, but kwa ground vitu ni tofauti. Do you, at some point, ladies, think of a man that cries to express the emotion as something weird?
No.
Mimi kama Wamboi, I feel like when my man cries, it's the sexiest part of my day. Because I'll be like,
Okay, that's your man. That's your man. That's like a relation. That's, you're viewing it on a relationship status. Now I want us to view it generally. Ukiona mwanaume, let's say for example, I have an injury like right now. Then I cry about it. Will you see it as something weird?
Mimi kama Wamboi, again, I think no, because one, niko in the psychology space, yeah? So nimekuwa conditioned to accept
to
things,
accept the
yeah,
emotions and everything. Now
yeah.
that's not even your question. We should just pass it to the audience,
Okay, to the
and
audience.
get a few insights from the ladies who are in the audience about how would you feel seeing a man cry over some physical pain or emotional damage. Naona watu wanasema we pale MC, maybe the MC could pass the mic down there. We get those insights. MC?
So ladies, swali ni, ukiona kijana analia for whatever reason, si lazima kwe chali yako ama anyone, what is your take? Utaipata ikiwa weird ama utamuona aje? Utambeba aje?
Na feel ni weird because men have wanajifanyanga they are so strong. Ni kama if something small ama big happens, they can't react kwa sababu oh I'm a man, kwani mimi ni mama, mimi ni mwanaume, sijui ni. So it's weird. It's something that we've grown up seeing. Men are not supposed to cry.
Yeah.
But me, I want to challenge you. If you can give her back the mic, me, I want to ask you a question. Think of this man, because he said man. Semesema not boyfriend, not nini. Think of this man as your little brother. If your little brother was atana apana, okay, sawa, elder brother. Lakini, tuachane na stories za kuanguka chini. Atana is just trying to bait us. If your older brother maybe has some challenge, maybe financial challenges, or he's in an abusive relationship, because men are also in abusive relationships, just that they don't want to speak out. So he has all that in his head, or maybe he has some shit to do with school, and it's eating him up. And it's that siku moja tu anaweza kasirika, because sometimes kuna watu wanakasirikanga sana wanaanza kulia. How would you take that? Your brother, your older brother now. Yeah.
Ningemhurumia for like 2 hours, but honestly, afai kulia, mbona analia?
But afai kulia, si ndio?
No, but that's your brother. That's somebody else's brother.
Yeah.
The other man is somebody else's brother. But anyway, that's just my point.
But ebu niulize, as a man, ukoaje in an abusive relationship?
There are guys who are like soft. There are guys who are nice and they are sweethearts, and yeah.
So we wrap it up.
And they find themselves with the wrong people, but yeah. Him.
So, Moshiri JJ is my name. My question goes to Larry. So, how do you solve a problem where you find men are depressed but haongei about it, and then you find unapata mnenda tu kwa local mnakata, but at the end of the day unapata this guy anaenda kulala kwa gari, wengine wanaenda in their happy space, lakini mse yako lonely. So how do you cater to such a person afunguke as a guy and akuwe safe to the umeelewa swali? Thanks.
Okay, I feel like there is no great solution to a man who doesn't want to speak up as learning how to speak up. Like, it's a learning process. You have to learn how to speak up to be helped. Yeah, the only solution there is to learn. You have to learn how to open up. You have to learn how to speak. Yeah.
But I want to pose this challenge to men. Also, nyinyi wanaume, mnafaa look out for each other. Mko mnakata and all things. Unafaa kuwa in a position kuangalia that bro haendelei fiti ama ABCD anakaa off. Hata nyinyi wanaume, take it as your own initiative ya look out for your fellow brother in your circle. Yeah. So any other question before we wrap it up?
May I have a question for the audience? Yeah, Mwisho. What's your take, or no, actually guys and ladies, what's your take on 50-50, ama 100%, ama men and provision in a relationship? Yeah.
What's your take on 50-50 and 100% provision in a relationship? Personally, hakuna cha 50-50.
Hello. Okay, so as much as the society might want to normalize this 50-50 thing, I think it cannot work. Let me tell you why. Because of stigmatization. That's why even when men try to open up, they'll be stigmatized. Unalia nini, bro. You know, they say the broken break others. So, ukiona, if you see men are like discouraging other men, it's because they are already broken. So 50-50, in my opinion, cannot work.
Cannot work.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, amesema 50-50 cannot work. Ladies, mnataka 50-50 ama full provision? Full provision. Anyway, guys, so that's the end of our session. Remember to subscribe to our
YouTube channel.
We are also on AfriPods.
Yeah, Spotify, Instagram,
at
TikTok.
Comrade Clubhouse podcast.
Yeah.
And see you on the next one.
Yeah, thank you for your time. You guys are a lovely audience.
Let us all say speak.
Speak.
Cry.
Cry.
Speak.
Speak.
Cry.
Cry.
So speak and cry and express all those emotions before they turn into some expensive offense. Yeah. You see all this fence that we are putting in protection for the opposite side is becoming the slice piercing through the boy's eye. So let us all decide and abide by the fact that the boys need some side, that the girls need some sight, and the children need some sympathy, and they all need some identity, and the parents need some ability and respect to express their emotions without laying a hand on their children or the society. So have that tea. Goodbye.
Let me show off that.
To appreciate one more time, more people.